Hello guys, and welcome to a new Steel Division 2 video today by me, Vulcan. In this video I have for you another first look, this time at the last of the Allied divisions, the 1st Pancerna, which is the 3rd Polish division to be added to the game. So if you'd like to read the description, as always, feel free to pause, but I'm going to be jumping straight on in. Now in Steel Division Normandy 44, I think this was a division that I really enjoyed playing, mainly because of the access to the Fireflies and the Cromwell combination. Cromwells are really strong in Steel Division Normandy 44 because of the fire position trick, where you'd fire position just in front of an AT gun, so you'd be outside of the AT gun's range and still sort of pitting them with the HE explosive radius. In Steel Division 2, that's still a common thing that you can do, but not done so much due to micro things. So we'll see how they are put together in this case regardless. Let's start off by jumping into the Recon tab. So we have, first of all, the classic Morris LRC. Now this is a unit I forgot about, and I am glad it is back. What an absolutely awesome unit this is. Funny, really funny. Bren gun, boys anti-tank rifle. It's a speedy thing that doesn't really do too much damage, but it's certainly a bit of a meme, and I love it. Great little armored car there. Fantastic. We have the Zmot Zviadauci. I don't know how I'm pronouncing these. A lot of these I'm going to be failing to pronounce properly. I need to relearn my pronunciations. I can do with any help to do with that in the comments, by the way. I do really appreciate it. I do try and learn it as best as I can. Anyway, 2-inch mortar carriers. You've got the N3 scout car here, which is really cool. And of course the other universal carriers there, one with the machine gun on top of it. Now these universal carriers I think are really good at the moment just because they have the very high optics, whilst also having good stealth. So something like this with like 2 machine guns could actually do pretty well because it's immune to light arms fire and can continue to like fire into units that are in heavy cover that it can spot itself. So I think those will be pretty good, but I don't think having the 2-man infantry squads is the way to go about it. You can get the 4-man recon squads as well. These don't come with as many options though. They only have the standard universal carrier and the M3 scout car. You also got the Lloyd carrier in there as well. Then we have the scouts with Piat. I assume that's kind of what this translates into, is that it's just scouts. Very similar to the standard British variants of these troops. But yeah, universal carrier is probably a good choice again, unless you want to get there fast, in which case just go for a Jeep. I think the scout car is a little overpriced, unfortunately. And we do have the Stuart 5s. Stuart 5s, these were absolutely godlike in Steel Division Normandy 44. Stuarts were in general pretty damn good. Not as good as the 7th Armoured, but in just having recon Stuarts was always something that people did, in the competitive scene at least. And I think these will be pretty useful for close range fire support for infantry. So yeah, I think in general this division is probably going to be very reliant on tanks to support its infantry and keep its infantry alive, because the infantry quality is not that great. As far as I can remember, I don't know, I haven't really looked at this yet. There might be some surprises there, but I don't expect it to be that good based on the description of the division. But yeah, Cromwell 4 as well in the Recon tab, that's cool. It does again have the 8 damage on its AP shell. Like, that is really strong. So we'll see if it can one-shot enemy units quite well, but also has the 2 machine guns plus the HE shell, so again, great infantry fire support, and this time has recon and radio available on it as well. So this is going to be a really good unit actually, and I think we'll see these used quite a bit. Only 4 cards available in the recon tab, and they do get expensive relatively quickly, so something to consider. Let's jump over to the infantry. We have some like Bren group here. These aren't fantastic. 15 points I think is overpriced for these units. Like even in the 15th Infantry, which have similar units, I think the units that have 3 Lee Enfields and 2 Brens are just overpriced as it is. We can get 9 of those in Phase A with a 1-star veteran C. 3-star veteran C, they can do okay, especially in high numbers. And we got the 4-man leader there with the Piat. I don't think these are going to be the main ones you bring in. I know, it depends what other units there are. Yeah, look at these. So I definitely prefer to bring these in. Although, I guess you do have the Piat on the leader if you bring these ones. So, yeah, I mean, pretty standard stuff so far. Then you've got our rifles. Stasi. These guys, 8 Lee Enfields, Bren gun, pretty standard stuff. 20-point squads, exactly the same as rifles in the 15th. We've kind of briefly looked over these leaders already, but this one has 3 Stenza Bren and smoke grenades. Usually I'd say that smoke grenades are worth having, but I've really come to like having HE grenades on my smaller leader squads because they can trade actually quite well if they bump into a low health infantry squad. So that's something that I think I'd probably prefer. And then we have the Dragoni. These guys have 60 Enfields, the Piat and the Bren. They do come in half tracks. Half tracks is the only thing that they can be deployed in. And 8-man squads, not that much firepower, honestly. Lee Enfields aren't that good of a rifle, and the Bren gun is lackluster to say the least. So this infantry is certainly exactly as I expected so far, in that it's not very strong. But then we got the Sapagé. These guys are pretty good actually, by the looks of things. They've got 2 Stens, Lee Enfields, they've got close range ammo, and they've got the Piat for longer range AT engagement. So yeah, I think these could be pretty nice, except from you only get a minimal amount of availability and only 1 card of them. So that's a shame, big shame. Then we got the Sapagé with the flamethrower, but these are 10-man squads with flamethrowers. These could be very nice as well. Alright. Yeah, I think these 2 last cards have certainly saved the infantry tab, because in general this infantry tab is terrible. And you only have 6 cards available to choose from. So yeah, it's going to be tough. But it's going to come down to the armored support from the recon tab, and I assume the tank tab. So let's have a look. So we can get standard Stuart 5s. They're going to be 2 machine guns and HE available on those. Availability is reasonable. You can get 8 of them in phase A. You're going to have a hell of a lot of Stuarts flying out of the spawn. Also, you can get Stuart leaders with the radios on them. Not sure these are going to be used as much. More probably just going to see a lot of Cromwells, and these Cromwells I think could potentially be reasonably strong. I think they're going to suffer in that they, in the same way that T-34-76s suffer, that they kind of lack the frontal armor to fight off other medium tanks very well. But they do have a reasonable gun. Now this gun is not good enough, however, to really ever take on something like a Tiger or a Panther very well. And so that's a little concerning. But the HE plus the machine guns there is going to be really, really good for infantry support. Then we've got the command variant as well. And we do have some Cromwell 7s. Now, the Cromwell 7 is basically the same as the Cromwell 5, I believe, except from it has better frontal armor. And that is pretty much the only difference. Yeah. So the usefulness of these is going to be limited for sure. Do have some Shermans in here. We've seen Shermans many times before. This is a Sherman 3. Just shows you how tall a Sherman is in comparison to a Cromwell. Look at that. And then we got the Sherman 5 as well. A standard Sherman 5. With the HE, with the 50 cal, with the 2 machine guns. These are better infantry support than Cromwells will be, but they are more expensive. Also, I think the base of machine gun is pretty damn good at killing infantry. I've always had reasonable success with using them. And further down, we do see we have a card of the Firefly 1C. So these are the old variant of the Firefly. You can get 2 of them in phase A. Now this is something that's actually going to make this division quite scary as like a Vanguard kind of playstyle. Throwing out Fireflies right from the get-go is going to be something that they can do very, very well, and that will allow them to cut down on the amount of Panthers and Tigers building up throughout the game. I think making this a Vanguard division so far is going to be preferable, because you can get Firefly 5Cs, and you can also bring these in Phase A. So that is cool. You get 4 in B, and then you get 8 in C. You got 3 cards of these. That's a lot of Fireflies. And then, I think considering they have 170mm of penetration on their AP shell, with 8 damage as well, that could get nasty very, very quickly in the late game, actually. I was thinking, like, generally early game stuff, especially with, like, the Cromwells, and, like, having the firepower early for cheaper points. Yeah, I don't know, but having this many of them, that's, what, 16, 24 Fireflies? It's a lot. Alright, let's have a look at the support tab. 2-inch mortar carrier, or that's just a standard 2-inch mortar, sorry. Comes with the Lloyd carrier, you can get them in the Jeeps if you want. I don't think these are terribly good just because of their low strength, and again, they're outranged by machine guns, I always mention it. Vickers, it's okay, but not anything that I particularly would enjoy using. You got the Cromwell 7 here, the first Pancerna logo on the side there. I think we've seen Cromwells... Actually, no, we don't have any Cromwells in the game yet, do we? So yeah, the Cromwell 7 here could be actually kind of interesting. We've seen Churchills with the sort of HE long-range guns, but it's going to be interesting to see how these mix in, because they're a lot faster. So you might be able to move out of cover, fire position an area, move back into cover before you get shot. I wonder if that's possible. Something to try out at least. The Dingo Commander is available. You've also got the Cromwell 5 Commander and the Sherman Commander. Cool. So actually the support tab is pretty lackluster, other than the new Cromwell 7s, of course. Or 6s, sorry, these are. Yeah. Let's move on to the anti-tank tab. Right, Piats. Do they come in anything nice? Not really, no. I don't think we're going to be seeing much use of those. Do have the 6-pounders and 17-pounders, of course. We've seen plenty of these before. But we do have the big boys, the Achilles, on the field now. These have the 170mm of penetration as well, and you can bring them in Phase A for 80 points. Okay. Yeah, I am starting to think that, like, an early game push with Firefly's Achilles could be pretty damn good. You get 4 cards of these. Again, a late game would be pretty good as well. Firefly's Achilles Juggernaut could be pretty cool. I think the most exciting thing about the first Pancerna so far, from having gone through it, is that it looks like it's going to be able to be played in a lot of different ways. Anti-air, let's have a look at these. So we've got the return of the good old Crusader AA Mark II. Has a twin 20mm, probably not going to be terribly effective. The Crusader AA Mark IIB will probably be way more effective, but you don't get that many of them. Actually, I guess you can get 4 in Phase C, and they're armoured units, so yeah, I reckon this could be pretty strong actually, bringing those in Phase C. You get the cars with the Bofors on the top. Yep, these Bofors would be pretty good, and they come in at 1-star veterancy base, so you make them 3-star veterancy, and the Bofors are going to be popping stuff out of the sky. And we got standard Bofors as well. But the AA tab here is looking pretty scary. Have some Crusader AA Mark IIs in Phase A, plus some Bofors, then some more Bofors on the trucks in Phase B maybe, and then the Crusader AA Mark IIB in Phase C or something like that. I think it would be really strong. Yeah, you could really dominate the sky with that AA. Right, over to artillery. So we've got the observers. These come with the Lanchester submachine gun. This Lanchester in Steel Division 44 had really high base weapon damage. In this case, I'm not sure that's going to remain the same, but there we go. That's the 2-man squads there. No interesting transports per se. Then we got the good old 10-man leader squads. We got 81mm mortars. We got the 107mm mortars. We 25-pounders. And sextons making a return. We got priests, now we got sextons again. That's very cool. Glad they're back on the field. They do have AP shells with 120mm of penetration, with actually reasonably good accuracy. That's something. I'm actually curious whether or not you could use them effectively as AT. I guess the fact that they have very weak armor will make them quite vulnerable to attack, but still. Yeah, that's actually a reasonable penetration value and accuracy. And rate of fire, speaking of which. 10 round per minute rate of fire? You could definitely use these in like a direct support role, as opposed to a artillery role, like you have to do with the priest. There is the Sherman 5 as well with off-map. 140mm off-map, 40 shells per barrage. It looks like that's going to be quite good saturation there, so definitely going to be making good use of that. Okay, and finally, the air tab. So we've got the Ulster. We've seen these before in the UK 6th Airborne. But Hurricanes are, of course, going to be making a large return. I mean, they're already in the game with the Finnish divisions, I believe. But yeah, Hurricanes with the 420 mils, these could strafe pretty well and take out enemy aircraft as well. So I'm curious to see if the Pancerne air strategy comes back in 1v1s. Because one thing that was very prevalent in Stone Division Zombie 44 was the use of the Pancerna to like hurricane strafe people to death and kind of just like fill up the sky with hurricanes in order to get the advantage over your opponent. So yeah, I'm curious to see how effective these hurricanes can be. But they do have bad resilience, so maybe they'll just get shot down very quickly, especially with outvetted AA. A hurricane with two 230kg bombs is a nice payload for killing off the support weapons if you're not strafing them. There is the Spitfire Mark 9C available. Has excellent agility with the 1-star veteran C. This is a very nice fighter with a 620km/h speed. Damn. Very nice indeed. This is going to be awesome for shooting down enemy aircraft. Then we have the Mosquito FB6. This is the 6 110kg bombs. I'm really not a fan of this payload, mainly because of the way that the aircraft's quite fast. It spreads out the bombs quite far in a long line, and they don't tend to do that much damage. The 4 230kg bombs would probably be a bit better for saturating a target and also just having pure potency to kill stuff off. So I think I'd definitely prefer these ones. Then we got the Mustang Mark III in here. That's going to be the Mustang, but only with 4 50 cals. It does have medium agility, but I think you're probably better off just relying on the Spitfire Mark 9 since you've got 2 cards of them. And then there's the Hurricane with rockets. We got the 150mm rockets. These are bigger than I remember. I think these could actually be quite effective, and you've got a reasonably good speed. Amazingly enough, it's actually faster than both the fighter variant and the bomber variant. It does cost more. It also has excellent agility at 1-star veterancy. Damn, that is pretty damn good. These could be really scary. Get 2 of them in A with 1-star veterancy with excellent agility. That can't be right. Wait, and it can... There's something going on here. 140mm off map as well. I think that's just a bug. But yeah, I don't know if these are supposed to be this good, but if they are, then, well, make good use of it, guys. Let's go through and start throwing in some units. Recon tab. Oh, we've got to have the Morris LRC, don't we? Such a bad idea. I'm probably going to bring in the Cromwells, honestly. I would bring in the Stuarts instead of the Morris LRC, but we're going to keep the Morris LRC in there just for jokes right now. I'm probably going to be bringing in some of these Calcipiats as well. Let's go for phase B. I'm definitely throwing these at my enemy. I have to do it at least once or twice. Okay, infantry tab. We've got Bren Group. I think first of all I'm going to start off by throwing these ones in here. So do I need those in phase A? I think I'm going to bring, I think we're going to bring in the Flamers in phase A. Let's make sure they come in something reasonably fast. I mean, a half track's not too bad. And then we bring these in phase B, again with half tracks. I think that's probably the best way to make use of those. Then we Dragoni. These can come in A and B as well. I think making use of as many half tracks as we can is important. There's only one card available of those. But yeah, that will give us Piats in phase A. Then we'll do this leader squad. Plus... do I want these in phase A? I don't think there's really enough men in the squad to warrant bringing them in. We're going to need as many infantry as we can get. Something like that. This phase B infantry has got a lot of weight on its shoulders, that's for sure. Oh, damn. I think just because of like the sheer like numbers of infantry that you have to bring, this is going to be like a very much a vanguard division most of the time for most players. The tanks have also got quite a lot of weight. Like you could do Firefly, bring in the cheaper Fireflies with the extra veterancy. Possibly the Sherman leaders as well, just to buff those up and support them. You got plenty of Stuarts for like pushing early. If you did Vanguard, having those in C is probably not necessary. You could probably do phase B like that. You still get 24. But you just have them available if you need them. So that's going to be a lot of stuff in phase A. But those Stuarts are pretty cheap. You got the Fireflies there, and then into phase B, you got some more Fireflies available. That's all of your Firefly cards used up. Just having a look at veterancy quickly to see if we can get away without betting them, but I don't think it's going to work. Then phase C, maybe just some Cromwell 7s to back things up. Definitely need phase A Cromwells. Probably throw in the commander there, of course. Not sure what I want to do about supply just yet. I think I'm going to have to fill up the artillery tab first. Here we're probably going to grab maybe some upvetted Achilles in the early game to make them like 3-star veterancy. And then we're going to want some AT guns as well. Probably bring in some more of these in phase B as well. That's fine. Anti-air. Definitely the Crusader AAs. We want card of Beauforts as well. Definitely not in Lloyd carriers. We want them in Bedfords. Bedfords are faster, so that's more important. And then Crusader AAs and Beauforts. Like so. I think that might be a little bit too much in the AA tab. I might be better off going like so. Having these in B. Especially for a Vanguard. I think this definitely suits Vanguard so much. So this would be useful then in phase A. Get the off map in there. Sextons in phase A could also be a good choice with Sextons in B. Maybe some more leaders as well in phase B. But we're getting pretty low on cards right now. I'm not even sure we could use those Sextons, because I really want to squeeze stuff into the air tab. So these fighters for sure. We want these Hurricanes. You can get 3 of them in phase A. And then probably these bombers in B. Gonna leave us 1 point spare. But I really do feel like the first Pancerna is probably one of the most aggressive Vanguard divisions that I've seen in a long time. And you generally know that because I make it a Vanguard deck, and I'm probably still going to use it as Vanguard in a 3v3 4v4. Doesn't have a lot of longevity though, mainly because of the infantry. And with the infantry meta at the moment, where infantry is very, very valuable, and, well, not necessarily valuable, but it helps slow down the game on the front line. Not having much of it means you're kind of forced to push through early with a division like this in order to get an advantage, and then just try and hold on for dear life. Yeah, I'm kind of, I don't know. I like this deck a lot. I think it's cool and it's unique, and it's very going to be very fast paced in Vanguard. I'm just a little disappointed that I think it's not going to be very good in 3v3, 4v4, and therefore I won't necessarily be playing it that much. So that's kind of the only disappointing thing about this. But in general, very cool division. And if you can pull off a really strong early game strategy, making those Fireflies and Achilles 3-star veterancy, plus using like some of the strong infantry like the Sapagé and the Dragoni, then you can probably get a decent push going. Might be forced to pull out those Morris LRCs early, but make them 3-star veterancy as well, goddammit. They will be good. Now, honestly, those Morris LRCs could be pretty decent for taking care of like the 12th SS, half-tracks, and other divisions that use half-tracks as well, I guess. Yeah, interesting stuff. I think this deck has a lot of potential to be played in a lot of different ways, but it's really screaming Vanguard at me right now. I think there is potential for like a Juggernaut if you skimped out on infantry and in phase A and phase B, but you'd be really weak. You're in a very tough spot, and you'd have to basically use Stuarts and stuff to make up for the difference, which would be hard to do for sure. But yeah, an interesting division, the first Pancerna, and that's basically my thoughts on it. Hopefully you guys think the division's cool as well. I think it's awesome. But yeah, definitely sort of early game focused in my opinion. Let me know what you think in the comments. Anyway, that's it for all of the allied divisions. Hopefully you've liked and enjoyed these first look videos. They're sort of like completely unscripted thoughts on the divisions as if it's the first time I've seen them, which it basically is. The only thing that I've ever known about these divisions beforehand is what I've read on the blogs. So yeah, going in and seeing them and trying to work out a deck on the fly has actually been really fun, and hopefully you guys appreciate that too. But we're going to be moving on to the last of the Axis divisions after this. So hopefully you guys have enjoyed it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.